Sometimes I get messages from people saying, oh, overturning Roe is not that big a deal. These bad things are not going to happen. Even people that are like, I work in a hospital, you're fear-mongering, this isn't going to happen. Let me tell you something. Because especially if you work in a hospital and you think that this isn't going to affect you or isn't going to affect things that much, you're in for a real tough awakening, because the power for a medical provider to save a mother or even anybody's life has now been edged away, and it's being put in the hands of the hospital's lawyer. A lawyer. Because when people say it's just to save a mother's life, how in danger does a person need to be in order to merit an abortion? It's not prescribed. A lot of these state laws are very poorly written. And even if they were really detailed, it's still up to interpretation. And so what that means is that the hospital's lawyer is going to have to determine that hospital's policy. And a hospital's lawyer's job is to protect the hospital. A doctor's job is to protect you, to treat you. So unless you are super duper duper wealthy and have your own lawyer, you're going to be subject to the whims of that hospital's lawyer's guidance on the hospital's policy. And here's the deal with that. If your life is in danger, but let's say you're just in general danger and it's not arguable enough that your life is in danger, it may mean that the hospital won't do it until you get to the point where you actively could die. And which means that they're going to wait until your chances are very high at possibly dying before they allow you to receive the abortion treatment that you need in order to save your life. There's so many different scenarios. And again, a hospital lawyer's job is to protect the hospital from legal liability. And most of these states, the penalties for violating these abortion bans are on the medical provider. A lot of them don't actually punish the pregnant person. They punish the medical provider. So it is doctors, hospitals, nurses, etc. that are gonna be on the legal hook, including up to 10 years in prison for Arkansas, $100,000 fine. So I'm sorry, but a bunch of men who are very ignorant about medicine, biology, rape culture, and misogyny that they were raised in, including legal liability and how it factors in with the medical field. People who are ignorant to all of that are the ones that are writing these laws. Some of them were even written in the 1800s. So don't tell me that people in the 1800s knew what an ectopic pregnancy was. So just to state that, just look at some cases. You have a 12-year-old child who was sexually assaulted by their uncle. That 12-year-old child is now pregnant and suicidal because of everything that just the trauma of that, the trauma being forced into pregnancy against their will, and now they're suicidal. Is their life in danger enough to merit a medical abortion? I believe a lot of places will say no, because a lot of lawmakers say no. And here's the thing is that the hospital has to decide, will a judge side with us? Will the state go after us on this? It's not clear. And the deal with Roe is that when everyone had the constitutional right to an abortion, the question was settled. You can make whatever. And if you're still in denial and you still think all this stuff is a mistake that's just going to get fixed quickly, I kid you not, it's not. Look, Governor Noem is defending having no exceptions in the South Dakota law, including for instances of rape or incest. They want it like this. And I think people are in denial because they don't believe that people can be this extreme. They are. And that's why we have to fight back. It's so important. And that, my friends, is one more way that overturning Roe is going to disproportionately impact middle class, working class, and poor women, because unless you're rolling up to the hospital with a lawyer in order to argue with the hospital's lawyer, make their case as to why them exercising medical care is necessary to save your life, you're kind of just subject to whatever the hospital's lawyer's whims are, which is not always in your best interest. But beyond that, even if you're wealthy enough to bring up a lawyer, if your life is in danger, time is a little bit of the essence here, isn't it? And having to deal with the back and forth of a legal back and forth while you are declining is not good. And one last thing to remember, having your life in danger is not the same thing as facing a severe lifelong disability. So if your pregnancy has a complication, that maybe you won't die from it, but maybe you will encounter such a grueling, lifelong, life-challenging disability or condition, you cannot receive a medical abortion. It can almost kill you, but if it doesn't kill you, you still have to go through with it. This is what we're talking about, that there are conditions where the pregnancy could almost kill you and will give you a lifelong condition, still can't do anything about it. So to all of those people that are telling me, I work in a hospital, you don't get it, this isn't gonna happen. No, I work in Congress and you work in a hospital, and I should not have to infringe on your ability to care for a patient. But that's what these people are doing. And now I'm telling you, as a lawmaker, that this has changed everything. And it takes it out of your experience and expertise where it should be. And it's putting it into the experience and expertise of a litigator and a lawyer where it shouldn't.